ntabwo nakwibagirwa abari kuri YouTube nabo bari gukomeza batwandikira amamesaje. Nabonye Hayisa Fabien yumve mu byo pastor yavugaga, avuga ati erega Nyagasani niwe wo kwihorera ku maraso, ntabwo ari twe twihorera, twebwe gusa tuzasaba ubutabera igihe bizaba ari ngombwa. Philippe nanjye ndamushimiye ku buryo yatuganiriye, akaba hagiye gukurikiraho ko studio iri buduhe aka video kari mu rurimi rw'amahanga, ariko katarazaho nagira ngo mu gihe turi kuvuga mu ndimi zitari ikinyarwanda vuba some aka message ko mu gifaransa nako katugezweho kanditswe n'umwe muri twe witwa Lydie uje neza. Igifaransa cyanjye ntabwo ari cyiza, ariko message ya Kizito nibaza ko niyo wayisoma nkuko idasomwa ariko ikizima nuko yanditse. Lydie yanditse ngo l'amour de Kizito a tout chamboulé pour moi. Le voile est tombé. Aucune raison, aucun raisonnement, aucune justification, aucune excuse ne pouvait justifier cette mort. Sa mort m'a forcé à regarder une vérité que j'avais encore du mal à accepter. Le gouvernement rwandais est prêt à tout pour faire taire par tout moyen le sort d'un narratif officiel et qui ose parler de toutes les facettes de la tragédie rwandaise en entier. Ils s'en rendent peut-être pas compte, mais tuer Kizito était la goutte de trop et l'histoire nous le confirmera. Le message de Kizito vivra à jamais à travers nous tous, qui l'avons entendu et qui essayons de suivre ses pas. Merci Kizito pour ton amour pour le Rwanda, les Rwandais et l'humanité. Hajemo ikiniga ndi gusoma iyi message, nta yindi mpamvu nuko uyu mudamu Lydie twamenyanye cyane kubera Kizito. Umunsi najyaga yambisa navugaga nahuriyemo na Ashire, yaranyakiriye iwe muri iki gihe abanyarwanda dusa nk'abatinyana, bivuga ngo Kizito uburyo yaduhuje ntabwo busanzwe. Ubwo rero nagira ngo nsabe studio mu gihe nihanagura amarira idushiriremo message aka video Emerance Kayijuka yafashe. Nari kuba mu presente neza ikiniga kitamfata, gusa numwe ngo nawe twihinge tuganire. Emerance tuganire na studio mwatugezaho aka video, murakoze.
Where she shares her views and opinions while announcing her soon-to-be published book, The Terrible Truth About the Truth, the story of a Rwandan genocide survivor, when home doesn't feel like home, and when abroad feels far from home. For those who listen to it, you should remember Emma's message ending with a reminder to everyone to never, ever take anything for granted. Today, Emma will be talking about a life taken away too soon, a life of a young, handsome, and talented music artist, Kizito Mihigo, right after he wrote the song
Igisobanuro cy'urupfu,
The Meaning of Death, a song through which Kizito Mihigo explained that everyone should be remembered, regardless of their ethnic groups, insisting that there is no such thing as Hutus, Tutsis, Twas, or even Rwandans, because to Kizito Mihigo, all humans mattered.
I can't forget this day when I spent the whole night reading the book written by my brother Ben Rutabana, De l'enfer à l'enfer, or From Hell to Hell, even though this book hasn't been published in English yet. The book was so interesting that from the minute I opened it, I couldn't close it. My brother was talking about how when his best friend Murera was sent on a mission by President Kagame to kill him, Murera, instead of killing Ben, he decided to die with Ben. Ben and Murera decided to flee, and after going through many hells, they luckily managed to reach Tanzania, and they applied for the refugee protection at the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR. Long story short, the UNHCR sold Ben and Murera to the Rwandan authorities, and in a blink of an eye, Ben and Murera found themselves in the hands of Kagame's men. I won't even try to tell you what they went through, because I don't want to understate the extent of their torture or spoil a book so well written. I just wanted to get to the part where, after Ben received a visit from the American Embassy representatives, as a result of the alert to the international community by our family, the Rwandan authorities, who very well knew Ben was unlawfully detained, started to come out clean by convincing him to plead guilty before he could be granted a pardon.
Ben, in his own words, says, and I quote, "Having shot all their arrows, Kagame's men tried to go through the National Human Rights Commission. They hoped to convince my lawyer, attorney Marcel Bouzingo, that I should request a pardon from the President of the Republic of Rwanda. I certainly was impatient to be free, but how could I know whether this was not some new trap intended to establish proof of my guilt? The government probably saw this as a way to come out of this with its head held high. Since I couldn't be sure of anything, I chose to continue rotting in prison as a victim of injustice, rather than taking advantage of a sham pardon that would cost me sooner or later." End quote.
Those are the words of my younger brother and best friend, Ben Rutabana. I remember I was sitting on a couch in my bedroom when I was reading this story, and my child came in and quickly turned on a television that was beside me, and when I was about to yell at her to shut it down as she was disrupting my reading, I saw Kizito Mihigo on the screen on a YouTube video, and he was doing exactly what I was reading in Ben's book. I was shocked.
Kizito was confessing how he worked with the opposition parties abroad, and he was citing names of his partners in crime, who happened to be considered as big enemies of state. And, of course, he was apologizing. Obviously, he was doing that, hoping for the dumb pardon they had lied to him about. Remember the pardon they had promised to Ben as long as he had agreed to lie to the public about his so-called crimes and apologize? As you can guess, Kizito didn't get the pardon. They used his testimony to legally criminalize him. Kizito Mihigo was officially arrested, for sure tortured, and jailed for 4 long years, until he got released for political reasons. Kizito became the founder of KMP, Kizito Mihigo Peace Foundation, hoping to teach unity and reconciliation between Hutus and Tutsis.
Teaching unity and reconciliation in a country where the leaders strongly believe in a divide and rule policy was not quite agreeing with the Rwandan Patriotic Front's guiding rules, and Kizito Mihigo was aware of the danger he was exposing himself to, but that didn't prevent him from continuing to do what he knew was right for Rwandans. Kizito Mihigo will secretly be arrested again and tortured again, and this time he won't survive. His death will be announced by the Rwandan police on February 17, 2020, stating that Kizito Mihigo killed himself using a bedsheet after his arrest when he was attempting to flee to Burundi.
Yeah, right. A bedsheet in a detention cell of Rwanda. Seriously? Since when were detainees in Rwanda given the luxury to sleep in bedsheets? Please join us and celebrate a short-lived life of Kizito Mihigo. And if you are a young or not so young, talented individual, allowed to express your feelings and opinions through art without being hurt, like Kizito Mihigo, please remember to never, ever take anything for granted. Thank you.
Murakoze cyane abo muri studio kutugezaho ubwo butumwa bwakozwe na Emerance nawe turagushimiye uburyo uhuza uturengane cyangwa se akakarengane abantu bagenda bahura nako Kizito yahuye nako. Urakoze cyane kuri iki gikorwa nzi kuba byasabye n'amasaha menshi n'umwanya mwinshi. Kizito ukuntu twamukundaga ndetse nuko yatuvuyemo abenshi ntabwo twatinye kuvuga ko yatuvuyemo mu buryo atameritaga, ntabwo yameritaga kuvamo umwuka kuriya. Abantu bamukoreye iyicarubozo, bamukoreye ubugome kandi we yarabahaye urukundo. Ni ngombwa rero ko mu kumwibuka kandi nubwo hashize umwaka ariko agahinda kuri twese karacyari kenshi, ariko nibwira ko n'impamvu twateraniye aha ndetse n'impamvu hari ibikorwa bihari ubu ngubu byatangiye ku itariki 13 bikazarangira kuri 22, ni ibikorwa nyine byo kugira ngo twibuke ubwo butumwa bwaduhaye, ubutumwa bw'amahoro, bw'ubwiyunge nyabwo bushingiye ku mahame y'Imana. Ariko ntabwo twabura kubabara. Niba tudashoboye kumuha ubutabera aka kanya, nibura dufite inshingano ndetse n'uburenganzira bwo kubabara.